Nabila Ramdani, who's a freelance journalist writing for The Guardian and the Daily News Egypt. Nabila, your thoughts on yesterday's talks? Do you get the impression that they're moving in the direction that the protesters and the campaigners are wanting?
I think we're seeing a split now between in the way to move forward between the opposition groups and ordinary citizens on the streets. Opposition groups have now agreed to start talks with the vice president, and they're adopting a more pragmatic approach, trying to implement gradual reforms while Mubarak is still president.
And is that a sign then that the opposition, well, apart from the fact that there's obviously a fracture there, is it weakening over time?
I think it's a weakening of the regime. Well, clearly President Mubarak is still there as a figurehead, but he's lost all credibility. He's not really in charge of the country. Everything is being negotiated through his vice president now. He's nowhere to be seen. And now the Egyptian government and the opposition have agreed to start to form a committee to push for constitutional reforms, amendments before March, in order to pave the way for democratic elections. But the demonstrators on the streets of Egypt have a more radical approach, and they want to see President Mubarak leave immediately. They don't want to hear about negotiations and talk. As far as they're concerned, they want fair and free elections, and there shouldn't be negotiations around that.
What is being said in Egypt about the West's response? We've heard President Obama saying that the time for change is now, but we also heard his envoy saying that, perhaps President Mubarak should not be going immediately. He should hang on as part of a sort of transitional process towards democracy.
Yes, we've seen very mixed signals sent by Washington and indeed the EU since the beginning of the demonstrations. The pressure from Washington and Western powers in general, including Israel, has been mounting gradually. But they've all stopped short of demanding President Mubarak resignation in unequivocal terms. Clearly, they have an interest in having him stay in power for obvious reasons, because of Egypt's strategic geopolitical position in the Middle East, to protect Israel's interest in the region, to protect their access to the Suez Canal, and also Mubarak has proved to be a crucial ally in the so-called war on terror in Egypt. Well, so we have a typical pragmatic approach of Western powers backing both horses, basically the demonstrators, but also Mubarak.
Nabila, thank you very much indeed for that. The journalist Nabila Ramdani there. The time now 25 minutes past 8.